Hi YouTube, this is Doug in the North again. We've been doing a lot of work the last couple of days to solve my overheating problem. But first I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm planning on doing when I start going for the test runs. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I'll tap in to this hose here with a T, which comes in behind the throttle body. But now with some of the research I was doing, because of vacuum concerns, these inputs would only be good at idle cruising speed, but at acceleration you lose your vacuum here apparently. So I was going to go, now I figure I'm going to go on a dual system where I have that, as well as on this configuration of truck, I'd have to drill a hole in each of these intake tubes on the other side of the throttle body and put the hoses in there, seal them up, and get sort of a venturi effect on acceleration. So as the vacuum drops here, it pulls from here. So it should even out relatively well without too many check valves and things like that. Now I'll show you some of the other things I've done. Now this is very crude, but I was digging around in my shop, found an old 12-volt relay out of my piece of junk Volkswagen over there, and an old switch. I do have a fuse housing which isn't in line yet because this is all very temporary. I just set it up mainly for the video. I don't want to get too ahead of myself in case something blows up. Now, I got a comment on one of my videos, my last video, about the overheating problem with my plates and melting down. If you see here on the top, the last time I did this, this melted up pretty good. So what I've had to do is I took this apart and I put some more gaskets in there and gooped it up with this special silicone that I picked up at our local hardware store. Now my original plate configuration was 4 positive, 4 negative plates, and that didn't work out so well, so I had 3 neutral plates, and I put them in, and it helped, but it wasn't great. And then I got a comment on my last video, and the gentleman nicely mentioned that I should have more neutral plates. So what I did was I converted a bit. So actually I don't know if you'll be able to see in here, but now I'm down to 2 positive, 2 negative, and I think it's about 6 neutral plates down in there. Plus I've wired it directly through the housing, so I'm not moving this in and out all the time. That stays down in there, and I put the bolts through the side. Now I still have some work to do in there. I got to get rid of that copper wire and replace it with stainless steel, because that's already corroding and we don't want to have an arc problem in here. But I put those bolts out through the side there, so that's nice. I just got to trim them up and insulate them so that I can turn this around and set it down and it won't arc off my steel clamps. So I've got that temporarily wired. You can see my original one in there. I'll move this out of the way. I've cut it down and turned it into my bubbler. So what we're going to do, I've got some pre-mixed things here. Now, I've done some experimenting, and the little bit of baking soda I was using before was not sufficient, because I guess this is a little less power on this set of plates. So what I'm doing now is about 2 teaspoons per liter of water. I'm still using just general tap water. Get this thing in here. I think I have to probably form a gasket for in here or seal it up with that silicone, because I'm not liking that too much. I think that could cause some leakage. But again, we'll worry about that if we can get this thing working. We'll just come over here and flip this little switch. I don't know if you can see it's starting to react in there or not, but there is some magic happening. Now I have done this, I was working with this a little earlier. Oh, there she comes. You see that? When I first did this, set this up this morning, I was getting cold. I would get, where's my jar? Here's my jar here. I've measured this jar out to about 500 milliliters. When it was cold, when I first started it up, I was getting about 500 milliliters in 52 seconds. Not great. I went in, had a coffee, and let her run, and came back about 20 minutes later, and it was down to 500 milliliters in 30 seconds, which is a big improvement when it warmed up. But the beautiful thing is, thanks to that gentleman that left his comments, it doesn't overheat anymore. I can put my hands right on that thing, like I just refilled it, but prior to making this video it had been running for probably almost 45 minutes, and that's cold to the touch. Now I don't know if I can get more production by putting more baking soda in. I'm not sure if that's the way to go, but at least for street testing and that, I'm sure that amount's got to help. So we'll keep you posted. I'm going to clean up this mess a little bit, make it a little more presentable, and seal everything up and see what we can make happen here. I should be ready for road testing very soon. So I'll get back to you, YouTube.